share this out after. All right, perfect. Hi, everyone. My name's Alex Ryder. I'm the Senior Manager of Volunteers here with Special Olympics Washington. I've had the pleasure of meeting a lot of you. And then for those of you who are new or first time volunteering, welcome. You might have gone through this if you guys watched this in the virtual summer games. We are going to be covering a lot of the same information, but also some new information going over some of the new roles that we have specifically for the virtual fall games, as well as helping answer any questions that you might have. Specific ones that we're going to go over today are virtual coaches and virtual unified partners. So we'll be sure to fill you guys in on that as we go throughout. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So a quick recap of our virtual summer games. A huge thank you to all of you. We had over 300 volunteers who joined us in the virtual summer games, closer to about 350. While as excited as that I got, we have actually reached 350 of you who have already signed up to participate, whether it's cheer cards, fans in the stands, all kinds of different roles in our virtual fall game. Now, that being said, we'll talk about our virtual coaches and unified partners here in a second, but we still need more support in those roles. So again, we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Of course, in the new age, we're trying to adapt with how we stay connected to our athletes, coaches, and volunteers. So that's really important. So, are there ways that we can share messages with athletes that we might not normally have done in the past? Are there ways that we can coach athletes that we might not have been able to do in the past? So we like to look at this time as an opportunity and not kind of a downfall. So of course, that led to the creation of virtual volunteers. I know a lot of you guys have been through kind of the process as we've gone throughout. I hate saying the word phrase because we always hear it, but we've had our different phases and we're excited to be launching this virtual fall games phase. And what is the purpose of virtual volunteers? A lot of the activities I know you guys are used to being in person, maybe being a scorekeeper, maybe being a timer. Obviously, this is going to be a little bit different, but everything is valuable. I've been able to talk to athletes who have received the cheer cards that you guys have wrote. They absolutely love them. I've been able to talk to other coaches and volunteers who saw the videos, absolutely loved it. So it's really exciting. And just overall, what does the future hold? We'll talk a little bit about, and this will be kind of a summary for those of you who watched our virtual summer games recap or video in the first place, but we'll talk a little bit more about what the return to play does look like and how we're moving forward. So first of all, to kind of answer what the virtual fall games are. So they are going to be held the week of November 16th. Now, when I mean held, that means that's going to be our celebration week. Athlete registration actually launches today and will run until October 5th. That's in order that October 5th date is the day to receive kind of the swag bag if they register by that date. But essentially, athletes will be able to train, compete, and submit their scores all the way until early November. Early November is going to be the cutoff date, and then that week of November 16th is going to be when we actually present the awards and do our recap videos, as well as our Spirit Week, all the other fun things that we have going on. So what do I mean by 4+1 sports? So the sports that we're offering in our virtual fall games, we have basketball, we have cycling, we have flag football, and we have volleyball. That +1 sport, a few fitness components. So we also have a fitness heptathlon, as well as a stride challenge, which is really just seeing how many steps you can get in and just trying to stay active, especially in these times. We're entering the rainy season. I know it's crazy out here today for me. So it's hard to stay active. And of course, other ways to get involved. We're going to have things like Spirit Week. We're going to have a new resource fair, which I'll talk about here in a second, and just a lot of other fun, cool ways to get involved. The website, which is going to be launching early next week, is SOWAvirtualgames.org. So it's the same website if you had happened to jump on as we were in our virtual summer games. It's going to be the exact same website, just with a little bit more information updated to our virtual fall season. So now kind of the moment I know we've all been waiting for a little bit. You guys have already seen these, but let's talk through them, our virtual fall games volunteer roles. So first of all, what is new this season? So more opportunities to engage and participate in the virtual games. That was definitely some of the feedback we heard last time. I know you guys are used to being, maybe it's even officials. You're used to being scorekeepers, kind of being a little bit more in the action. So we've definitely heard bits and pieces of that and are looking to provide more opportunities to actually engage and participate in the virtual games. That starts with our virtual coaching and virtual unified partners. So I'm going to talk about that here in a second, as well as our streamlined cheer card process. By that, what I mean is every single person who signs up to be in the cheer card is their role. They will actually receive the list of athlete names as well as what teams they're participating for. We want to really get these cards personalized, make sure the athletes have something to remember the virtual fall games by. Hopefully, it's the only time we're doing a virtual fall games. And then lastly, what also is new is our resource fair. This is going to be held during the week of the games, and we're looking to provide some really cool opportunities. You know, maybe you have a crafts talent that you'd love to share. We'll talk a little bit more about this here in a second, but it's going to be a really cool opportunity to engage outside of sports. If you've ever been to a state games here with Special Olympics Washington, we have what's called our Olympic Town, where we have all kinds of cool, fun games and activities that everyone can join in on. That's kind of the goal with this, is to have something that can be outside of sports for athletes to join in on. So first, I want to talk about our virtual unified partners. So in this role, you're going to be signing up to compete right alongside, and by that, I mean remotely, of course, an athlete competing in the virtual fall games. Volunteers will be assigned to compete in a unified competition with an athlete. Could also be a group of athletes who do not have a unified partner. So once registration launches, athletes will be able to sign up and say whether they would like to compete in a unified sport and if they have a unified partner or if they need a unified partner. Those athletes who say that they need a unified partner is where we're going to pair you guys up and you're going to get going that way. Virtual unified partners, we encourage you guys to check in with your athletes, talk about training plans, and don't worry, we'll provide you guys with some different training plans for each of our sports. Also offer encouragement throughout the week, just kind of offer, words of encouragement and support with the submission of results. You're really just there to be someone to bounce ideas off of, lean on each other, motivate each other. Time commitment, I would say it's roughly 1 hour a week for 4 to 6 weeks, depending on when you get signed up. The most important thing here is a background check is required to be a virtual unified partner. We'll also have you go through our protective behaviors training. Our unified competition, so there's some really cool opportunities that you guys who sign up to be a virtual unified partner can actually have the chance to compete in. The first is our Stride Challenge. And what this is going to be a nationwide challenge where you're going to be paired up with an athlete unified partner pair. And essentially what you're going to be doing is seeing how many steps you can get in, whether it's walking, rolling, running in a week. This challenge, like I said, is going to be national. So not only are you trying to be the best in Washington, but you and your pair of partner and athletes are trying to be the best in the country. Football, we have our team passing competition. This one is a ton of fun. I actually had the chance to do it in our video shoot. Essentially, you're going to be just trying to throw a football as accurately as you can. Again, each of these things are going to be done directly from home. So if I'm a unified partner, I will be doing my drills at home and then working with my athlete who is doing their drills at home and combining our scores. So we're not actually getting together and doing this in person. You're still remote. Just wanted to make that clear. In basketball, we have our free throw shootout. So if anybody has some great skills from the free throw line, we'd love to see it. Volleyball, our bump, set, and spike competition. And then we also have cycling, which can be done in unified pairs in distance races. You can do this either in an indoor bike or an outdoor bike. So maybe you have a Peloton at home, you can do it that way as well. Looks like we have one thing in the chat. Andrew, we'll be sure to connect with you and make sure we get you all set up. All right, it looks like we have one other question for Becky. Yes, so Becky, great question. So Becky's question is the sign up for the Stride Challenge separate from the other fall sports? The answer is yes, just because it is a nationwide challenge coming from Special Olympics North America. We're going to be communicating that with all of you guys of what the different, I know it's a little bit confusing how they're different processes. I like to think about it as our normal season. We would normally have a fall season, which culminates in a fall games. I like to think of it pretty similar. Our Stride Challenge, I look at it as our season, and then it culminates in our fall virtual games. So we'll be sure to communicate that with you guys. And then the other thing I'm going to mention real quick is we're also going to be sharing out those of you who signed up to be virtual unified partners and coaches. Expect a separate email from me. I know I bombard you guys with emails, but expect a separate email from me, likely tomorrow, with all the last information that you need. All right. We have, let's see. Okay, perfect. On to the next. So our virtual coaches, so very similar to our virtual unified partners, just a little bit different. In this aspect, you're going to be signing up to help athletes along the way as they train and compete for the virtual fall games. After signing up, we're going to send you guys all the link to our virtual training course to learn more about the process. The thing I really want to emphasize is don't worry if you haven't coached before. We're here as a staff to help you along the way with a virtual training session, send you some drills, training routines, and a whole lot more. So I know it sounds like a scary position to be a coach. We want to take that out of it, and really it's a way to connect with athletes, a group of athletes, and be a support. Volunteers will then get assigned to an athlete or a group of athletes who are looking for a coach. Virtual coaches will check in with the athletes to give those training tips I talked about, encouragement, and be a support for the submission of results. Your time commitment here, I would say it's about the same. We're roughly 1 hour a week for 4 to 6 weeks, and a background check is required to be a virtual coach as well. So next steps for our unified partners and coaches. I know that there's a lot of information we're throwing out at you guys. So one thing we'll have to do is complete our background check. Just so you guys are aware, we process those on Fridays. So if you guys sent yours in this week, expect to receive a letter from us on Friday saying that it was cleared. At that point, I'll be communicating more steps. Our protective behaviors training, this is a quick online resource from Special Olympics North America, just about in order to work one-on-one with athletes, some steps that you need to take. Attend a training, so either October 1st or October 7th. I know I had communicated some earlier dates. Unfortunately, we had to push those back slightly. I will be sending out the links to these for you to attend. Now, if you can't make it, I totally understand. We'll coordinate with you one-on-one to make sure you get the training you need. Finally, the pairing process with an athlete. So after all these steps are done, so let's say Alex has gone through the background check. I've done my protective behaviors training, and I've gone through my training. And again, we try to make these short. That live training won't be longer than 30 to 45 minutes. I will actually be sent to my local area. So me, I live in King County. I will be sent to an area leadership team member in King County who will work to pair me with an athlete who says they need a unified partner or they need a coach. We'll likely connect you guys via email, and you can continue to connect via email or through the phone, whatever works best for you. But that's going to be the process of getting you guys connected from there. Let's see, do we have any questions? It looks like one thing in the chat. So we had a question of what do you mean by submission of results? So one thing that we received some feedback on last time was the process of actually going through the scorecard and putting the results down on the piece of paper and then getting them to us here at Special Olympics Washington was a little bit missed, and there were some athletes who maybe didn't have all their results submitted on time or correctly. So as a coach or unified partner, you're just going to be there to help make sure everything's getting submitted properly into us at Special Olympics Washington on time, and that all the results are being taken care of. All right, on to the next one. All right, so the exciting thing, I know I've talked to some of you guys about this, and some of you guys have actually already done this, is leading a class or demonstration. We'd love to have you guys join in. Do you have a skill? I keep looking for somebody who can do some magic tricks. I'd love to see a magic class. We're actually going to be doing a cooking class during our resource fair during the week of the games. And what we're going to be doing with the cooking is actually sending out the ingredients that those people will need ahead of time. And then just the cooking class is going to be live. If anybody wants to lead a live workout, that's always exciting. I did one of those myself. It's a ton of fun. And finally, I know we have some people interested in leading dance classes. So we're going to start doing with that. So if you're interested in leading anything live, so normally these classes will be about 30 to 45 minutes. Go ahead and connect with me, and we'll make sure we get you signed up. Ideally, we're looking for times probably starting in mid-October, going through mid to late November. Most likely in the evenings would be the ideal time. That 4 to 6 window is a sweet spot. So be sure to connect with me on that. I want to throw it over to Ethan on our team to talk through a few more processes. I think, Ethan, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex, for the handoff. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay. I'm also in the thick of the weather here in Seattle right now, so if my audio sounds a little funky because it's pouring in the background right now. So awesome. Yeah, so I'll get started here. So creation of encouraging videos. So if you were a part of the summer virtual games at all, this was a really fun thing that we were able to do as we transitioned into virtual events. That really, this is something that wouldn't be involved in a live event. So this was a really popular thing that people sent in. If you either know an athlete that is involved in the games, or you just want to send a generalized message, you can send in a message just supporting the overall games overall. Like I said, if you know someone personally, that you can just send them a good luck or a congratulations or whatever it is. We really want to give you a creative freedom. Of course, there'd be some restrictions for inappropriate content or whatever it is, but we do have encourage ideas like what do you miss about Special Olympics Washington, how are you staying positive, favorite memory, stuff like that. But really, we want to give you creative freedom to the things that you want to say, encouraging our athletes that are currently competing despite not being in person. And all these things will be going on Flipgrid, like you see here on the presentation. Okay, so next, virtual fans in the stands. So this was a really fun thing that we were able to do for the summer games as well. And I don't know if you've been keeping up with professional sports as they have continued, as virtual fans in the stands have been really popular. The NBA currently in Orlando, they actually have fans that are in the stadium with them on the court as they're watching the game, and you can see them on the television and stuff. A different idea here, but as you can see, it's kind of the format like there on the photo with the Brady Bunch, the opening theme song for that show, where we'll have people come in for certain times that we'll talk about here in a second, on dates where you'll come in, you'll sign in, and you'll be there in the blocks next to other people that are also sending messages. And you'll be similar to the cheer cards and the encouraging videos. You'll be sending in recorded messages that will be sent out to the athletes themselves. And even we will then clip and record, and they will be involved in, like they were in the summer games. They'll be involved in the celebration week, the closing ceremony. They'll show clips there. So maybe you'll even see yourself if you keep up with the live videos throughout the celebration week and everything. Once everything is submitted in November. So this is a really cool thing. We're looking to get a group of 15 plus people together. You can email Alex for that stuff if you have a larger group, or just find out that you want to be with. You can just be with random people that come in. So here are some of the times. These are flexible. Sometimes they change. These are the set times as of right now. September 28th is that first one there, 4 to 4:30. So they're quick things. 30 minutes is kind of the maximum time. They're usually much quicker than that. Alex will run them. I plan on being in part in some of them as well, as I continue to help out through the fall games. And it's really a fun thing. He throws certain things that you can, that he'll give you, like scripted lines that you could say that, similar to the encouraging videos where you'll just mention, you'll be like, good luck athletes, like you rock, like stuff like that. Or you can send also personalized messages yourself that you will have a time where we'll zoom in on your picture, and you'll say whatever you want to say that you feel is necessary that athletes need to hear as of right now. So next slide. Okay, so the cheer card. So this is kind of a similar thing like the encouraging videos, where instead of a video, you'll have the creative power to be drawing a cheer card, kind of like that example here to the right of the description. All this stuff, so you can have just a piece of paper, you can work on your cheer card, celebrating the athletes, all the stuff that we've been talking about thus far. And like I mentioned, creative freedom is definitely on your side. Really talk about anything that you want to, if you have if you have someone that is competing, or just want to send a generalized message to all the athletes overall of just, like good luck, stuff like that. And you can take a picture of it, send it to Flipgrid. You can, post it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram using SOWA virtual games. We want to get that hashtag trending as much as we can. That's our biggest goal, to push things on social media, as I'll talk about the social media job here in a second. Or you can mail them in to the office in Seattle as well, and then we can send them personally to the athletes. Awesome. So the mask up challenge. So this was a really cool thing that we came up with for the summer games when we transitioned into the virtual to the virtual games. So for this here, masks are really important right now. Obviously, as we know that since we have you know, our country has taken a big hit with COVID-19. We want to push as much safety as possible. We want to show the importance of being safety. That's why we're having virtual events in the first place. But we want to get back into live events as quick as we can. And the only way we can do that is staying socially distanced from people, maintaining space, and wearing masks. So we want to push the importance of that. And also with a fun twist, we want to give you the creative freedom to do fun designs on masks and send them into Flipgrid or Twitter, Facebook using the same hashtag like I mentioned before. And a winner will be chosen, and you'll get a fun swag bag. And the announcement will be the winner. We decide on November 20th, and you just need to make sure that you send them in before that same date as well, November 20th. And the winner that we had for the summer games was also featured on the September newsletter that sent out to all the volunteers. So if you show your artist creativeness and start drawing on some masks and take a picture and send it in, and you might win some cool gear. Okay, so I've been talking about Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter a lot. So you see those hashtags there. You know the Facebook stuff. We want to push that these games are as important as we know to everyone else in the state of Washington, really anybody. We want to share social media. Social media is the quickest way now in the day and age that we are in now for information to get passed around. So we want to share the importance of these games, letting athletes know the importance of them for volunteers. And this is a really cool role to have a bunch of people involved, not directly for the games. Everything is virtual, of course. There's no live events. So this is a fun way to have a bunch of people involved in roles that really isn't kind of hands-on. It's more just like searching for things that are online, and really anything that you see that is about the Special Olympics Washington, either if it's about athletes or the games or really anything connected to the game overall, you should retweet, you should share, you should post, really do anything just to spread the word, and so for everyone to can see the amazing thing these athletes are doing virtually. So other virtual summer game roles, I've listed off a bunch of them. Alex talked about the awesome classes and demonstrations that people can do. That's kind of why we have some TBD on this list here in the presentation that you're looking at now. We're really giving people I've talked about the creative freedom a lot in these slides. We really want to encourage people to come up with events that they can maybe host on their own. If you have a fun, special skill or talent. Alex mentioned the magic show. That'd be really cool. Really anything that you feel that you could provide just to have something to do. It could be really anything. We read a book, share a special skill. We talked about the cooking classes and in the workout stuff. So those are really cool things that we want to just have people, things for people to do when it comes to the celebration week and everything. And Spirit Week participation is a really cool thing that we get to do. We'll have themed days included in our celebration week later in November. And then the opening ceremony viewing. That is a really important thing. All of this stuff will be shared online. You can watch these events live. I know everything, of course, is different as we have been in virtual events, and it's not the same feeling, of course, that a live event would offer, but we really want to, try to share as much as we can, that would encompass what a live event would. So these are just some of the other examples as well as ongoing roles in the next slide. So these are things that you can be involved in that don't have to be currently during the fall games, or if we have virtual games in the future. These are events that you can do right now, that you could be a part of these games right now, which is a cool thing that we didn't really have in the past. So you could send in letters, you could personalize things to fans. We talked about the cheer cards and the videos, just sharing things on social media. Really, just any way that you want to be involved in the games, it's your time to do it, and that's really a fun perk that we have, that everything is now virtual. So that's everything I wanted to share, and I'll send it back to Alex. So thank you guys for letting me take your time.
Awesome. Thank you, Ethan. I appreciate it. That's good stuff. Let's see. It looks like one question in the chat. All right, Andrew, we'll definitely get you helping out with us. We'll talk about that. So ongoing virtual volunteer roles, great point, Ethan. So a lot of these things, you know, we have things that are focused specifically to the virtual fall games, right? Well, we also want to do things that can be ongoing. So talking about live workouts and how important fitness is, we're always looking for people to host live workouts. We took a little bit of a hiatus, but that's something we're looking to do all throughout. We really want to make sure that we have people hosting live workouts. So if you're interested in that, contact me. Also, workout videos and tips. It's always great to go ahead and send in your videos and just, you know, let us see those kind of things. It's great to see, and tips and tricks are awesome as well. You can email any of these to awriter@sowa.org or post on our Facebook page, interact with our athletes in our community. I know I could use some tips myself, so it's great to pass them along to anybody. The next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is data analyzation. So quite a few of you guys, we've touched base on this, and I really appreciate the help that we've been getting so far. We're always looking for more people. You know, we've got a great team who's been diving into some really exciting things so far. And if you have been working with me on data and I forgot to send you more data, feel free to reach back out to me because I've got lost. We've got a ton of great people looking for some cool things. I think the exciting thing is we're always looking to improve our data and how we look at things. We have so much data coming in, whether it's volunteer data, whether it's athlete data, whether it's coach data, it doesn't matter. We have so many things coming in that we've never really taken the time to actually look and kind of break things down and be better with how we actually recruit or how we train. So it's really exciting stuff that you guys are taking a look at it. The other thing that we have is cooking classes and just cooking skills. So I talked a little bit about leading an actual cooking class, but the other thing is send in your recipes, send in your tips, any tricks. I know we all, you know, maybe you bake some bread in quarantine, maybe you, who knows? Send them to me at my email or post them on our Facebook page. These are some of the great recipes that we've gotten in, and it's been awesome to share them out just in our emails. I'm going to start including these in our volunteer emails as well. I think it's great to share what you're making at home with some other volunteers. Who knows? Maybe they'll pick up on it. We've had some people, you know, feeling like the next Emerald Lagasse, send me in a recorded video demonstration that can be shared out with our community. I don't know how you guys do what you do, but we've seen some really cool videos where people have been able to cut from. It's just really cool. So I love seeing the creativity that you guys do. So keep sending them in. Robotics field creation. So I'm going to play this real quick. I owe one or two of you a touch base on the actual robotics field creation. I don't think that the audio will play on this, but that's okay. Let's just play the video and then I'll talk about it real quick. Again, apologies that the audio is not working. All right, so essentially with the robotics field creation, all you will need for this is you will have to purchase a fiber board from your local hardware store, and we will reimburse you for that. So don't worry, we'll send you, go ahead and send us in the receipt and we'll reimburse you for that, as well as some black paint. Now we're doing things a little bit different in the robotics world right now. We're gonna be doing a e-robotics competition. So these aren't gonna be used in the immediate future, but looking towards next year, we're going to be using these fields. We have, I don't know if any of you guys have actually been to our Unified Robotics event, but they're a ton of fun to go to, ton of fun to see, and we always need more of these just fields. So essentially, for those of you who have signed up for this role, I'm going to send you more information on what you can expect, but it's a ton of fun to build them. It's a nice arts and crafts project. Last couple things, so technology training is always huge. We need people to, it's always great to have people who know technology really well. You know, one thing, I know a personal example, maybe you are a pro on TRS. I'd love a video creation walking us through the steps of how to do it. I know a lot of people struggle with how to go on TRS. It's always a little bit of a tricky thing, but we'd love to see some videos of those kind of things. These kind of skills of training technology, maybe you're great with Excel. That's a skill that can be shared out at our resource fair. Maybe you're great using PowerPoint or putting together resumes. Those are all great skills that can be shared out. So if you have something like that, feel free to either contact me or Leah, our initiatives manager, at her email there. Finally, letter writing. This is something that we can't get enough of. I know a ton of you guys are interested in this, and it's been an awesome, fun time to do. Essentially, the one thing here is you'll have to supply your own notepads and postage. If you can't supply the postage, we will be able to do that. But ideally, you're going to have to supply your own notepads. We can work to coordinate and the drop off and pickup. A lot of times, it's just easier when you send the completed cards to our office, and I'm able to mail them out from there. Essentially, what we do is volunteers first decide on roughly how many cards you'd like to write. I know some of you guys have even said, hey, give me a list of 5 names a week, and that's awesome as well. I'll just keep continuing to feed you a list of 5 names. The other thing that we're going to tailor it a little bit to here in the virtual fall season is similar to the cheer cards. If you would like, I'll be sure to give you a list of athletes who are participating in the virtual fall game so that you can make the cards a little bit more customized. We will not actually give you out athlete addresses. You know, we're not going to be sending those things out. So that's why we have to work to coordinate the drop off and pickup. I will just give you a list of athlete names to write letters to. From there, you'll write the letters, get them back to me, where I will actually address and send them out to the athletes, since we're not able to give those out. Things that are great, messages of encouragement, maybe your favorite Special Olympics Washington memory. What do you miss about coming to events? Is there a particular event you're really looking forward to going to when we return? All of those things are great. If you have more questions about letter writing, feel free to reach out to me. All right, lastly, volunteering at the area level. So if you guys watched our summer video on this, you know, not a ton has changed, but I just wanted to touch base on it one more time. So the way we're going through things, I know it seems like a while since we've actually heard about the phases here in the state of Washington. Maybe it's just me and I've missed it, but it doesn't seem like, you know, I think we're in kind of an indefinite pause for now. But our plan is we have to get to phase 4 for an area to be able to apply to have in-person events. So once we get to a phase 4 in a county, areas will be able to apply for in-person recreation. Once we get to group 4, groups of 5 are allowed, which would be 1 coach and 4 athletes. But to get to phase 5, we'll have to have reach phase 4, where at that point the areas can apply for it. We'll go through our metrics, make sure everything looks good. Groups of 5 to 50 will be allowed. Assuming everything is still going well through that, we'll be able to move on to phase 6. Now, again, a lot of this is dependent on how quickly we move up timelines, but you know, we'll see. We'll be able to start moving up eventually and having in-person events. Obviously, for the time being, we are sticking with virtual events. We want to make sure the health, safety of all of our participants, coaches, volunteers, and most importantly, athletes is the #1 priority. So we're making sure we are being safe and doing things from home. To talk a little bit more about that, just where is your local area? So of course, you know, based on the area model, some places might get to small events in person a little sooner. I just wanted to throw this map up to help give you all a little bit better understanding of our area system and where you fit in. King County is a great example. It's so big, it fits into its own area. You are all right here. I know a lot of us are up here in the Cascade area. These are always changing. You know, we try to make sure you guys know your area as much as possible, but I would imagine once we are able to get back in person, we'll see some area events that you can volunteer at first before we move on to those larger regional and statewide events. So what to expect next time you volunteer. Now, again, this can change at any minute, right? Like I think our requirements and the guidance that we receive, I think we all know changes quite frequently, right? But as of now, whenever you are able to volunteer next time in person, we will be asking for a temperature check, which is upon arrival and no contact. As per the state guidance, wearing a mask, no volunteer at this point will be admitted without a mask. Again, these things can absolutely change as we approach whenever the time is that we can have in-person events. Answer questions, just a brief 1 or 2 things. It'll be when you sign up on TRS, just making sure you haven't been around anybody. And pre-registration. As of right now, you know, whenever we get to that point, we're not going to be accepting day of volunteers. But again, this could all change. I just thought it'd be important to share this with you guys as to what we are thinking and moving along the lines of course, there are going to be a ton of resources sent out to all our volunteers whenever we are able to get to that point of in-person events. The most important thing, I know a lot of you guys are looking for credit hours for your school, or maybe your corporation matches hours that you volunteer. Any of this will count. The tough thing is it's a little bit flexible, but feel free to kind of, whatever you feel is a fair amount of hours. I know that there's no set time for writing letters. I know that there's no set time for posting videos on Flipgrid, but whatever you guys feel is fair for the time that you spent, I will gladly sign off on it. Just email me an estimation of those hours that you completed and I'll get them verified. If you have a form, I know a lot of people use online systems that I can just click and verify the hours. You can use me as the contact for that. We also have forms that we fill out on our end if you would like just a kind of blank form. My email is awriter@sowa.org and I can get you set up with any of those. So what comes next? If you have any questions about your specific role, go ahead and contact me, awriter@sowa.org. You're going to be receiving an email from us most likely tomorrow following up specifically on the role that you have selected. So you're going to be receiving an email specifically to your group just about the information that's coming. So especially expect that for those of you who are our virtual coaches and unified partners, since there's a few more steps that we have to go through to get you guys set up. But don't worry, all those next steps will be communicated with you guys tomorrow. As well as you should have received a document, I believe it was on Monday, kind of walking through it as well. So we'll be following up with some of the same information and just some other things to keep in mind. You can expect an update from us on winter season likely in November. Of course, if that comes sooner, we'll keep you guys updated. But in the meantime, go ahead and inspect that in November, and we'll keep you guys posted. Most importantly, stay connected. It's great to hear your guys' thoughts. And like I said, feel free to contact me at awriter@sowa.org with any questions or thoughts. I love hearing new ideas. I've heard so many great things that you guys have proposed, thought of. So feel free to send me some ideas. I love hearing what we can incorporate into not only our virtual fall games, but what we can incorporate into virtual volunteering as a whole, especially since who knows when we'll be back in person. So it's great to hear your guys' thoughts. I just want to thank you guys. Give my email one last time. If you'd like to ask any questions, there's a few options. You can either put them in the chat, you can put them in the Q&A box, or you can also raise your hand and I can allow you to talk. It looks like we have a question in the chat box. So the question is, I do not live in the Washington area, but I'm interested in becoming a unified partner. It is absolutely going to be okay. You are not going to have to be specifically in that area. We're going to be able to get you signed up to be a unified partner. There's going to be no meeting in person, so remote is completely fine. It is okay wherever you live. So you are set to go with that one. All right, let's see. Any other questions? Feel free to put them in the chat, the Q&A, or raise your hand. All right, that might be it. All right, everyone. Well, if there's no more questions, we'll go ahead and let this one go. I'll stick on here for a few more minutes in case anybody else has any lingering questions they want to ask. But again, I just want to thank you guys so much and looking forward to getting this thing rolling. I really appreciate all of you so much. We couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you. All right, I'll go ahead and answer that question here live. So the question is, if I become a unified partner, would I have to record yourself doing the activity or just submit your result? It's great if you want to send in a recording as well, but just submitting the result is great. We love seeing the recording of the videos so we can add in. We're trying to do some Sports Center type highlights, but if you just want to submit the results, that is okay as well. All right, everybody. Well, that looks like we covered everything. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. And I just want to give a big thank you. Oh, let's see. All right, it looks like Deanna's question. All All right, I'm a unified partner, but I don't know if you're signed up or a volunteer. Deanna, don't worry about it. We'll make sure that you get set up. I've got you covered. I'll get you all set up in your position. What team are you a unified partner for already? Can you type that in the chat? Clark County. Got it. Okay, perfect. We'll make sure that you're set up with Clark County as a unified partner. All right, everybody. Thank you so much, and feel free to reach out to me with any additional questions. Thanks.